Okay, so let's understand how to deal with multi-class classification using techniques that don't support multi-class classification. All right. So we have classification techniques like the KNN. KNN fortunately supports multi-class classification. Uh, Classification supported. So what this does is that you have, let's say, K classes where you have C1, C2, all the way to Cn, right? So KNN would work normally if you have a data point, you'll put it in the d-dimensional data space, check the nearest neighbors and see and take a majority vote ultimately. It'll take the majority vote of whatever class is majorly available in the vicinity, and it will choose that class as a prediction for your data point. But then there are other techniques like logistic regression. Logistic regression is a classification technique. Even though it has the word regression, it's a classification technique that doesn't support multi-class classification. Okay, so what do you do? Well, to overcome this problem, there is a technique called one versus rest. Okay, this is a technique to deal with multi-class classification problems where you don't have a classification model that can deal with them. So let's say I have uh, five classes: C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. What one versus rest helps us do is it will divide the data set into five parts. Okay, I mean, it'll run the training and the model validation on the dataset five times. The first time, it'll take one class as C1, and the second class will be every other class that is not C1. Okay, not C1. It will run a classifier on this, and it will see the probability of getting the data point X given Y equals C1, comma, not C1. Okay, sorry, this is not X, this is Y. Y. Similarly, it will do the same for C2, y equals C2, and then it will divide all the other data points that don't have the class C2, y equals not C2. And I'll find the probability of x equal to the data point xi given that y equals C2 and not C2. Okay, similarly, we'll do all the way till the last class, which is y equals C5 and y equals not C5. And I'll find the probability of x equals xi given y equals C5 and not C5. Okay, so when you have this conditional probability with you, uh, you would obviously then check which one of these probabilities is the highest, and whichever of these probabilities is the highest, you would take that class as your data point prediction. Okay, so this is how you deal with multi-class classification for a model that doesn't support multi-class classification. It's called one versus rest classifier.